Hey, my friends. There are some of us who use labels as a crutch, who manipulate our reality to make us into something weaker than we really are. And when you compare yourself to other people that are successful, and I'm not saying that you aren't successful, but if let's just say, for example, that you struggle at something and someone else doesn't, is it because they're that much smarter, or they have that much more intuition or creativity? No, probably not. They probably just view the world differently. They probably have a different perception which aids in their success. And what's the hardest thing for humans that I've noticed is to change, to do something different. Even when people recognize that things aren't working, people still do what's comfortable and what's recognizable. And you see that in abusive relationships. You see that in people who have various disorders or addictions and things like that. They'll just keep doing it because that's all that they want to know, or all that they do know. And so if that's all that you know, then you don't know what to do otherwise. You don't know how to be in any other way. So the danger of this for preppers is to be complacent, to think that you have all this capability when you really only have some, or maybe almost none. And so it's a scary way to live, to think that just because you label yourself as a prepper, that you're prepared. Because a lot of preppers I know are not prepared. And I'm always trying to be a little more prepared. Very incremental though. I don't try to stack things to the roof like I used to, and run around like a madman like I used to. Because back in the day, and I'm not ashamed to say this because we all have a progression, of wisdom. But I started into preparedness partially because of concerns about the future. And there was a little fear. Now, I don't have fear that motivates me anymore. But I do say that a lot of people have that. A lot of people panic, and they prepare off of panic. They prepare because of bad news, instead of just the whole lifestyle and philosophy of being prepared. Some people just react to whatever is out there, instead of basically being able to adjust to whatever that is there. And there's a big difference, between the two. So I just want to put that out there, that your perception of the world may not be very beneficial to you. You may want to change your perception. You may not want to look at the world in a certain way, because maybe it doesn't get you very much. Maybe it's not very productive. Maybe it actually turns people away from you, people that you want to be around. Look at how your environment interacts with you and you with it. And is it healthy? Is it healthy? Are you always playing the victim? Are you emotionally unstable? Do you have addictions? Do you have money problems? Do you have relationship problems? There's a whole host of things that come about from having an unbalanced life. And by no means am I preaching. I'm preaching to the choir here. I have the same problems as you. I'm human. But I've been through things and come through on the other side on a lot of things. Still working through a few things myself currently. But I think that's the whole part about life, is we're always going through something, right? That's the challenge. It's like I don't know if you want to call life like a test, but it seems like it sometimes. It's sometimes it feels like it's a game. Other times it's just like a long drawn out job. Sometimes it's interesting, sometimes not. But regardless, though, how you perceive your life and your lifestyle and how things are will very much impact the results you get in life. And so if you're getting negative results somewhere in your life, you might want to just completely try something different. I mean, you really do. Sometimes a radical change is needed. Sometimes not. Sometimes a small tweak is all it takes So know the difference, know what you really need. But when you can't differentiate between what you need and what you have, you just do something different, and then gauge from there. Did you go too far, or did you not go far enough? So often I see people do that. They're just kind of lost. There's a lot of people who don't know what's going on with themselves, within the world, with their neighbors, with their family. They don't know what's going on. It's just surprising how people even get through their life. Some people, they can't get through their life. That's why we see a lot more suicide now than, it's been a long time since we've seen this much suicide. I mean, I think some of the numbers are saying close to, like, it's high now or higher than it was during World War II. And there's a lot of suicides, especially from young people, like teenagers. People just either are suffering, they're numb to life, or they just give up. They're just depressed. They're just too overwhelmed, possibly. They don't see the whole purpose of any of this. And that's for you to determine. But I'll just share you my opinion on the whole matter. Is that there is a God, and He created all of us because He loves us. And He just wants to be loved back. It's just like real simple, you know? He just wants to be loved back. And He's like, hey, you know, while you're at it, just love everybody else too, you know? Love everybody else as you love yourself. I mean, it's not that hard to do, right? Well, it's a challenge. It's not that simple. We know it isn't, but that's it right there. It's just the whole enchilada right there. Purpose is right there. Now, I have said on the channel way back in the day that purpose is kind of what we make of it. And that, I mean, obviously is true to some degree. But the other part of that is that there's a God, and because of Him and Him alone, there's purpose. And we don't really need any other answer. Now, for those who are like, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in any of that. When we die, we die. There is no spirit, there is no afterlife, there's just nothing. Well, I guess that's your opinion. And that's your belief. And if that's working for you, then hey, I mean, that's one thing in life, you know. You have to make up your own choices. But just make sure you ask yourself if it makes sense or not. Does it make sense, man? Have you even looked into it? Have you looked into any of this? Have you questioned yourself on the big questions in life? Do you know where you stand on the little questions? Where are you in your life? Where are you going? Do you know where you came from? See, and a lot of people can't answer anything. They're just like, hey, I get up in the morning, I go to work, I do what I'm told, I come back home, I make myself something to eat, and I watch a few shows, and then I go to bed and do it all over again the next day. This is what modern day life has come to. Being stuck on our phones or smart devices, plastered in front of TVs, working in cubicles. Not all of us, but a lot of us, a lot of people I talk to, actually even on here, they work in cubicles or in an office environment that's really sterile, unnatural in its way of, you know, the environment that they're in. So they spend all this time with people that they don't even like, doing things that they don't really care for. And then we wonder why we have problems as a society. It shouldn't be a surprise at all, people. It shouldn't be a surprise.